feels like it was weeks ago because every day feels like a week now. But it's really only been 7 days since Donald Trump was nearly assassinated. Now, in the first hours and first few days after, a lot of politicians called for lowering the temperature. Republicans promised a message of unity at their convention, but between the signs that called for mass deportation and the former president's own words once his nomination speech went off the script, not much has changed rhetorically since this hour last Saturday. Joining us now is global human rights activist Martin Luther King III. He's co-founder and chairman of the Drum Major Institute. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Obviously, your family and you personally know the loss, the personal loss of political violence. I wonder from your perspective, what is this moment we live in now?
So first of all, thank you. I would like to say that first and foremost that we are a nation that is hopefully constantly learning. And it's very clear that civility has temporarily been lost in the political space for a number of years now. Although we all should be greatly disappointed in what happened last week, the fact that a man was killed, that there was an attempt on the former president's life. But we shouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised at all because of the diminishing of the civility. And the real question is, how do we recreate civility? And then how do we not repeat the mistakes of the past? The people that do not remember their history are doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past. And then how do we learn to become better, to do better? And you can only do that by setting a tone that it has not been set yet.
Is it naive to suggest, and I used that word earlier, and as I was saying it, I was thinking, well, that's pessimistic. To suggest that in this moment it is naive to lower the temperature, that we are 4 months out from a national election, and the candidates we have and the way in which politics is conducted, that can happen now?
I would hope that it's not naive. I think we have to continue to set a tone by stating, and it is really what we see from a socialization standpoint, whether it's social media, whether it's mainstream media, we're constantly reinforced with negative images and violence. And until we decide, we just hadn't learned the lesson that my father and others have promoted. And that is, we as a society must learn nonviolence, or we could face non-existence. That's literally where we are right now.
Yeah. I mentioned at the top you're a global human rights advocate. We saw the signs for mass deportation now at the Republican National Convention. I want to play a portion of the nominees' acceptance speech.
And you know who's being hurt the most by millions of people pouring into our country? The black population and the Hispanic population. El Salvador murders are down by 70%. Why are they down? Now, he would have you convinced that because he's trained murderers to be wonderful people. No. They're down because they're sending their murderers to the United States of America.
What's your reaction when you hear that?
I do think we always have to be true to what we believe. I also believe that anytime we use negative to get to positive, it'll never happen. When you think about the fears that are stoked of division, hatred, and you say unity in the same sentence, well, you got to stop stoking hatred. And I'm not suggesting that that's what is often or always done, but that is done on all sides from time to time. The expression "enough is enough" and "we shall not take it anymore" is actually true. But taking it anymore means holding everyone accountable for their language, for what not just they say, but what they do. So deed and they have to go together. It's not one or the other.
I know that Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee was a friend of yours. She passed away overnight. What are you thinking this morning?
Well, I'm thinking about a great loss for our nation. She was a champion for women's rights, a champion for the African American community, a champion for justice, a champion for those who are unheard. And so I'm very saddened. My condolences are certainly to her family and to the constituents who she represented, not just in Houston, but throughout our nation. A great loss.
I, in prep for this conversation, saw that you endorse political candidates, mayoral, congressional candidates as well. Have you endorsed in the 2024 presidential race?
Not in a traditional sense.
Yeah.
My support has been with the president, the current president,
Yeah.
but I have not endorsed. And I think the Democratic Party has got to decide, the president first, what is going to happen. Unity is the only way that the party can be successful, and obviously that is not what's happening right this moment.
Do you think the president should stay at the top of the ticket?
I think the president has to make that decision.
Why haven't you endorsed?
I usually don't endorse up front. I don't remember endorsing President Obama until later.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, I often believe that where I can be of most service, if I can be helpful, just endorsing just to say, well, you're one of zillions. I want to make sure that what I do and how I use my platform is constructive.
All right. Martin Luther King III, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.